And next on the list here, Nier. What do you have for us?
Wow.
How are you gonna
So
follow this up, Nier?
I don't know.
Can your series beat Mitsuha in a fight?
Um, I don't know. Probably. I don't know. Well, they should probably just teleport away. Like, but yeah. I watched Ars no Kyojuu, also known as Giant Beasts of Ours.
Yes.
This is a anime original.
Mm.
Um,
Asahi Production is actually doing it. It's actually pretty surprising
yeah,
because Asahi Production again usually does. They are more on the line of like assisting other studios a lot of the time.
yeah. Recently for main production, Asahi's done Girls Frontline, which was not great.
God damn it.
Who drew this art? Is like look at her arm.
Yeah,
So
it's a bit fucked
weird.
up. They
Hey,
did Beach Boy
her hand
Riverside,
backwards.
Yeah.
and they did what's this? Tenchi Sozo Design Bu.
Heaven's Design Department or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, anime original. This is written, and it is created by the creator of Gakko Gurashi, which I found a bit odd.
Hmm.
You know what's that's weird. But you know what? Also, this poster art reminds me of um, like Legend of Heroes. You know what I mean? Like kind of like vibes for some reason. I don't know why, but
I
yeah, it's
It looks like
guess.
some weird Final Fantasy knockoff.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, it is a sort of knockoff. Yeah, it is very derivative of other series, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, I'll give the basic. I'll just read the synopsis here. Great beasts created land, but humans stole it. Angered, the beasts began eating humans, who in turn called upon the gods to fight the beasts. In the age of the sword, heroes in mythology, giant beasts are hunted by humans for profit. Juro, who makes his living hunting beasts, encounters Kumi, who is being chased by someone, and in that moment decides to save her. As rumors spread regarding humanity in a mysterious experiment, together they seek to discover the world's secrets.
Can I just pause for a second here? So
Yeah,
this says Age of the Sword, right? But there's a
yeah.
fucking spaceship. What is the technology in here? What's
Fire
the
So
fire
technical setting?
swords are eternal.
the sword is eternal. You cannot defeat the sword. Also, the main character
Yeah.
uses a spear. So I don't know.
Oh, that's much better. Yes, I
Yeah.
apologize.
Um.
What is the technological setting in this
So this
series?
is like it is medieval, right?
Mhm.
But it is sort of like I guess Magitech type of deal.
Oh, okay,
Where
okay,
you
okay.
have technologies powered by fucking crystals and bullshit. Um, the general world setup is kind of like well, a lot of this series is set up sort of like Granblue Fantasy, um, and without I guess like without the airships and the floating islands and stuff, but it's sort of like a mix of Granblue Fantasy and like Monster Hunter, where sort of the world's economy is essentially driven by um monster parts, right? Like people hunt monsters, they take the pieces apart, they use the pieces to power stuff and build stuff and sell shit, you know, what have you.
Mm.
Um, yeah, the basic story setup, if you didn't get it from this kind of not great synopsis, is uh, the pink-haired girl, Kumi, is essentially a experimental um, cleric created by the Empire. And what a cleric
Okay.
is it's some sort of there's some sort of magical being, um, but they can't control their powers very well, right? Like they're basically magical beings that can fight monsters like way better than any sort of like traditional technology or you know a sword or a ballista or whatever, right?
All right.
But they can't control it. And if they try to use their powers without, some sort of focus, they create this black miasma, and the miasma fucking kills people. Like it literally just
Okay.
melts them. And so a cleric needs a paladin to focus their powers. And a paladin is
Oh boy.
essentially, yeah,
Okay.
a paladin is a guy that creates a contract with a cleric, and when they
God
fight,
damn it.
they take the paladin or they take the cleric's like soul or energy or whatever into their own body, and they go fucking Super Saiyan.
Well, let me ask: are these roles gender locked so
It
far?
seems like it. Yes, yes, seems like it. Um, from what
I'm
they've shown,
already
at least.
uh, I'm like building up the negativity as we go along. Like you're
Yeah,
just providing the summary, but I'm just
yeah.
channeling the negativity that everybody has right now. They're like listening to this
So,
summary.
so Kumi is again she's a cleric created by the Empire. At least that's the initial story we're given. Um, she escapes from the Empire. She's being chased by the Empire. And then our main character, Jiro, um, sees this and decides to save her. And then they make a contract with each other. And then they're on the run from the Empire, traveling around and fighting monsters. And
Mhm.
that's the basic setup, right? And
Yeah.
you may be thinking, hey, wait a minute, that sounds really familiar. And you'd be correct in that it's literally the setup for Grand Blue Fantasy. Pretty much exactly. Um,
Also, part of why I was just not happy with
yeah,
earlier on.
yeah. So
One of the main reasons.
honestly, like I could literally just say that this show is straight up Grand Blue Fantasy with the tone of um Rage of Bahamut. And I
Yeah.
could literally just leave it at that, and like you could take that as you will, whether you want to watch it or not. Um,
My
personally,
question also is like this since this comes so close, it's almost like again, it's like Cabaneri to Attack on Titan kind of levels.
yeah, yeah,
Why? I'm almost surprised that this was allowed in the first place. You know what I mean? I'm just like, because it's one thing to be like, oh, again, something like Princess Principal and Spy Classroom, right? Where it's just like they're years apart and, they're kind of like not even that similar, but they kind of draw on the same themes and do whatever, right? That's like one thing. But this is very, it's
yeah. I
very
mean,
on the nose.
Grand Blue's big, right? Like Grand Blue's a
Yeah.
ongoing IP, right? It's not exactly like obscure. Um,
hmm And it's still running right now.
yeah, yeah. I will say not to throw shade or um stereotype, but some of the biggest producers on this series are Billy and NetEase. S- Just saying, I'm just saying. Um, but yeah, so personally,
It's
I think this
simply an
show's
homage.
this show's
Yeah.
not it's not bad. It's not a bad show. The characters are, I mean, they're not interesting, but like they're there's nothing really offensive about the show.
Huh.
It's not bad. It's not good really. Um, But again, like I think if you liked Rage of Bahamut, you could check this out and probably get a decent amount of entertainment. Um, uh, but there's really nothing like unique about this. You know what I mean? Um, like
Is it like
you have the general traveling type stuff. Uh,
is it mini arcs? Is it episodic? What is it?
it seems to be semi-episodic. I mean, there's only 3 episodes right now.
Mhm.
The first two set up just the general premise of them being on the run from the Empire.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then the third episode is sort of them doing helping out some people in like this weird like forest village. Um, they're sort of
Okay.
like beast people, and they need help sort of fighting a monster, right? And then the
Yes.
episode is essentially them getting to know the people in the village. They fight a monster, um, and I think they get like a new party member, basically.
Mhm.
So I think the initial episode is going to be sort of forming the main party, which is I assume the main people on the poster. And then after that, it's probably just going to be either continuing adventures or they're going to face off against the Empire. I will say the Empire stuff that they've shown is very not interesting.
Yeah.
It's pretty standard stuff. The Empire thinks they're super hot shit. They're looking to invade some neighboring country, which they're like saying is like barbarians or whatever. But then people within the Empire are like, that's a fucking bad idea because we're barely able to defend ourselves against the fucking monsters in our country.
Right.
And then the Emperor's like, I don't give a shit. And so there's like inner conflict within the Empire. But then like the main antagonist that they've set up within the Empire is just like painfully stereotypical. Like he's this, smirking, blonde-haired, like blue-eyed dude that's like, yeah, chase down the experiment, and I don't care how many people you need to sacrifice type of shit. It's like, yeah,
Very standard.
okay, yeah,
The,
it's like, okay.
Are they? My question now is, how it's an anime? Or is this 24 episodes?
This is 12.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because a story like this, something like a structure is like this, especially if it starts off not immediately diving into the story, if it starts off more as like a general slower kind of like semi-episodic like mini arcs thing, usually requires at least 24 episodes just because of
Usually, yeah.
how the pacing sets up. Um, Given that it's 12 episodes, what do you think is a standard ending for this series, especially since it is an anime original?
Um,
What did Grand Blue do in its like second season or whatever it is?
Do you think this
I mean,
series is gonna be?
Grand
Blue is pretty bad, to be honest.
Grand Blue
It
kinda
kind of got, it just
exploded.
went nowhere in
Yeah.
its anime.
So using that as an
that's what
example,
you're
what do you
asking.
think might happen to
So-
what do you think might happen to this series?
Is this series gonna be an allegory once more? The real beast of ours is humans. It's like, oh,
I have no idea. They're sort of hinting that like, the general setup that they've sort of alluded to is that the gods created the beasts to sort of get rid of humanity.
man, what is it?
Um,
Mankind created the beasts.
Does
Yeah.
it does it
What is
matter?
how does guilty gear work?
Does the whole oh yeah, the mankind I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like some weird like deer beast bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like related to the creation of the universe, like in that lore, but I forget
Yeah.
exactly how. Yeah. But even like that, like the creation mythos within the lore of ours, no Kyojuu, doesn't really matter, right? The important
No.
thing is the whole like
I mean, they're not. Yeah,
some
they're not like
experiment with the clerics who are going on. That's
like
the
they're not
important part, right?
fighting the gods or anything. So it's not like it really matters.
Not-
what
not
the
yet.
They're
creation
trying to
if
figure
is.
out, yeah.
What if the
They're trying to
gods
figure out
are beasts?
we were the marchers all along. Is that where we're going with
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
But the important part is the cleric paladin relationship plus the experiment, right? That's the sort of the
Yeah.
central
Plus the
problem that
empire,
they're trying
right?
to solve. Yeah. So what do you think is the standard ending for this? A standard ending that could happen with this.
I don't know. I mean, I really think they're probably just gonna. I mean, they're probably gonna like make the main party. They'll kill some monsters. They'll probably reveal some weird secret about what the beasts actually are. They'll face off against the
Right, yeah.
like generic big bad dude. They'll kill him.
Uh-huh.
And then you'll get some probably shitty like cliffhanger ending where it's like, yeah, now the real fight begins. Whether
Yeah.
whether the Empire is the true villain or the gods are or what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
They'll probably try to like bait for a season 2 or something.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't really see this going anywhere like meaningful. Again, I do think it's quite derivative. It's relatively generic. The audiovisuals aren't stellar. They're not bad by any stretch. But they're not exactly. There's no real wow factor here. The palette is it looks yeah, I've sort of used this to describe anime before, but it looks old. You know what I mean? Like it looks kind of like
What does that mean?
it looks kind of like mid 2000s. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Kind
okay.
of color palette. Like it's a bit muted. There's like fog fucking everywhere. Even when it's like the middle of the day. It's hard to describe other than like, yeah, like this is something from like 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
It's
or
like
not even more at this
somebody.
point.
It's like some some production committee with this studio, or I forget sorry, Asahi Productions, and some like Chinese related companies. Like the CEOs of those companies just like woke up one day and they were like, "Wait a minute, we should be making Grand Blue money.
Yeah.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute, we could be making Grand Blue money off of this.
Yeah,
What are we
like I
doing?"
said,
And then
yeah,
they
like I
did it.
said, it's very much like Grand Blue's general plot with like Range of Bahamut's sort of aesthetic and tone.
Yeah.
It's not it's not a bad end product, but like, if you have literally
It's clear. It's very
if you
on the
have
nose.
any experience with those IPs at all, like you will connect the dots immediately.
Yeah, your eyes will pop out at me.
Yeah, and it's just like, wait a minute, I've literally watched this before. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't really recommend it, but like if you're really hankering for something to watch, and you liked Rage of Bahamut, I'd say maybe
Mhm.
check it out. Um, Again, it's not gonna wow you, but it's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very very middle of the road, you know. So
Yep. Okay. Well, I guess again, thank you then, Nier, for helping to cover Rs no Kyoju, again, the giant beast of Rs. This is by Asahi Production, and a lot of again production people related to sort of I guess the Chinese side of things. Very interesting story, so to say,
yeah,
for an anime original. But I guess they did what they could with the money. So it is what it is. If you like this sort of premise, the not Grand Blue of our ages of our time, please do check it out.